I don't like that you can fly with the portable barricade. I don't think it should exist.
I also don't like that the rewriting of rules, like the climb mechanic for the ladder, like specifically gets rewritten from the order of operations, even though it says climb, but then it only costs 1 because of the order of operations.
Right.
So it only costs 1, everyone. It's a little ridiculous.
Ladders do in fact work. I can confirm.
Yep.
It's wild.
They do.
But you know what I don't like the most? That Striking Scorpions save on a 4.
I would agree. I also don't like this hair split here. I look like I'm bald again. But hey, I would also say that Striking Scorpions should have a save on a 3-up.
Absolutely.
What about you, Chris?
I agree. I think that's a pretty reasonable stance to take, and I can't really disagree with it.
Yeah, we just did a battle report. If you guys haven't seen that battle report, it is on YouTube. It is a banger. I play against Giacomo's Vespids. It's the first time we've played both factions.
Yep.
We both forget some things, but overall, the dice make the game extremely entertaining, to say the least. Today we have Chris Bachi, who is one of the top players in the United States, and in fact, one of the top players in the entire world. And tonight he's wearing his Kel Team shirt.
Wow.
Go Kel Team.
Go Kel Team.
Dang, he's gloating.
He is.
He's on 2 teams.
Look, I saw what happened at ABTT. All right, I know what I need to do.
And then Jimmy went up. Jimmy and Jesh went up to Killscream up in the Pacific Northwest, and
Jimmy's a wrestler now.
He won the entire thing with Scouts.
I know. I saw the pictures of him.
It was nuts with Scouts.
Yeah, with Scouts.
What the hell?
Yeah. But you know what? None of that matters anymore because it's the last edition. Sorry, Jimmy.
Yep, that's right. That was. Oh yeah, they still use
Try winning
second.
this edition.
Hey, he's gonna come down to probably SoCal, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, and
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. So today we're actually going to be talking about a way too early tier list.
Way too early.
Now, I will say that I have looked at most teams. I have not looked at every team like in depth. I've heard a lot of rumblings about what people think are good. So we're going to, like I said, this is just a too early tier list. But
Absolutely.
Why not? No one else has done it.
It's never too early to speculate.
That's true. I think Spain did a tier list, and they went S tier, A+, A minus, B, C, and that's like it. And I was like, wow, you guys, what a tier list. What a tier list. And I disagreed with most of it. Because I've played a lot of teams. I've seen a lot of teams.
You're always grading on a curve. So even if the point you want to make is all the teams are pretty close to each other competitively, which is a stance I would actually agree with, except for Blades of Khaine. You can make that point in a traditional tier list and just clarify and say even D tier is not that bad, except for Blades of Khaine, right? So you can make that qualifier and still have some good, different gradients between the different teams.
I will say I am quite upset with how bad Blades of Khaine actually is. It's relatively upsetting.
I mean, I guess the good thing is this is just the release. It's not the permanent, so hopefully we
Games
get a Q
Workshop
fix, Q1.
Buffs Striking Scorpions to have a 3-up save.
At least.
That's what they need.
At
That's
least.
what the team needs.
The saving grace is they're going to outlive some of their competitors. Old Legionary is going to go bye-bye, and Blades of Khaine are still going to be around. So
I mean, that's fair.
That's what they're going to bank on.
Yeah.
Right, like that's how we're gonna win. By getting
The
rid
entire
of
classification system was invented by Eldred.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Eldred
see,
predicts.
Eldred's playing the long war.
There
He's
you
like,
go.
oh, you think we're bad? Wait until 2 years from now, when every team has been nerfed into the ground, then we'll be good.
The real veterans of the long war.
Yeah. So today we have played and watched quite a few games of this edition. I think we have. I think I have like 5 or 6 games under my belt now, and Giacomo's about the same. Playing different factions, watching different factions. We have 3 bat reps up on the channel now. Giacomo played against Colts on Sunday, and they definitely are not bad.
They are not bad.
They are not bad.
Not oppressive.
And also, I think Aquilions might take a lot of skill to pilot. They're not. They don't seem to be like
As straightforward.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah.
yeah, and then you have Blades of Khaine, also not a starter faction, but I ain't no chump either. They just suck. And Vespids, I don't think Vespids are that good, and that's why I was like so absurdly surprised at how that
Tanky.
battle port, how bad that battle port went. You guys should watch it.
Check it out. There's some good moments.
It's entertaining. And then our first one was, which is popping off right now, was Angels of Death versus Veteran Guard. And I'm the #1 Veteran Guard player in the United States. So I took a shot at him into Angels of Death, and you're going to have to watch that battle report to see how that one went as well.
Let me just say, Angels of Death feel great. They are tuned up to
That's your
120.
Your favorite faction you've played thus
Absolutely.
far?
I love Space Marines.
By a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. I love Space Marines, man.
They're good.
Ride or die.
Let's say that. Yeah, so on this tier list, unfortunately, there are no brand new tier lists just quite yet, specific for this edition. But we did add in our own painted Aquilion and Vespid, which were featured on Warhammer Community, into this. So when we throw them up there and into the F tier, you guys can you guys can see our own paint jobs at the bottom. We're not judging our own painting jobs. We're just
S tier right away.
We're just judging the teams, you know.
They do look great.
Thank
They
you.
do look really
Thank
good.
you.
Appreciate it.
I do love the cell look. That is a good look.
Yeah. So Chris, have you gotten any games in?
I have. I've played a handful of the new edition. We've been getting some games in what we lovingly call the Bat Cave. I've been championing the little bug boys, so I've been going hard on the Vespids.
Oh,
They're a lot of
okay.
fun.
I'll agree.
They're good, but they are really fun to play.
Okay.
And I make aggressive insect noises the entire time.
Let me hear one.
I don't know if that's
I don't think it's safe for the stream. It's not safe for work stuff going on there.
All right,
If Stinger
all right.
comes out, it's not good.
Yeah, he's like,
They're called the sting wings. You know?
what did you call him?
Wing sting.
Wing stings.
You know, we'd had wing stops, so I thought about that.
That's true. So we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to get right into the tier list because it might be a hot minute as we're looking through some of these things.
Shall we go in alphabetical order?
We can go in alphabetical order. Why not?
Why the heck
Why
not?
not? And if we judge your teams harshly, everyone, I apologize.
And comment below why you think maybe you think your team should be higher or lower.
Yeah. So this is going to be, I think, it's just like really exploded size here.
This one is kind of a situation.
Yeah, but we know the first one. The first one is Angels of Death. Right?
Easy. Angels of Death.
Angels of Death. Where are you?
Let's pick,
this one.
The good old Space Marine.
Where are we putting this guy? Are we putting him in D tier? How bad are these guys?
No, they're.
Why do you wish, Chris?
All right. Look, I love playing games where Space Marines are bad. It drew me to Kill Team in the first place. And it's been heartbreaking watching this edition unfold, and elites are actually good. All jokes aside, I do think Angels are awesome. I think a lot of it is probably people getting used to how Counteract works and just understanding how elites are functioning in the current meta. They're definitely better than the sum of their parts from Justian and Intercessors from the before time. But they aren't more wounds than they used to be. Definitely chapter tactics are overall worse than what Intercession got.
Really? You think they're worse?
For me, Angels of Death are solidly A tier. They're very, very strong. They pack a punch, but they play a really honest game. And I think at higher levels of play, they don't have quite enough tricks, and they can't aggressively stat check hard enough to make up for it.
You know, I would agree. A is probably like the perfect spot for them.
I was just about to make the joke that me and you get to outvote Chris every time. So really, it's just an R tier list, and Chris can.
No, it's actually
screw
Chris
off.
and I are outvoting you every time. He didn't tell you because it was supposed to be a secret.
I mean, now I know.
But yeah, see, like A makes sense because they're just like the perfect. Like you want to start playing, they're always going to be good. And obviously, if you're a better player, then you know you're going to take them to maybe make it to the top.
I hate you both.
And you figure it out.
They're
And the heavy bolter can move and shoot and can shoot twice.
They're S tier. I mean, their sniper can.
Dude, the sniper is
counteract
insane.
while on.
Can the heavy bolter move dash shoot?
Yeah.
He's 7 inches.
Yeah,
7
it's
inches.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's
and then counteract and shoot again. He's a great. They're great models.
They are great models.
Yeah, even getting mollywopped by just assault intercessors is pretty good too.
All right, so it looks like we have to. This is a democracy. We live in America.
Yeah.
Right? If it was a dictatorship,
S tier.
So Dakota, make the case for S tier.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the team is bananas. Okay, I think the team is super strong, and I think that they have the ability to beat any team.
I would agree.
I think they have the ability to beat any team, thus they would be an S tier. I expect a lot of Angels of Death factions to win tournaments right now. Like right now, what are the best teams? I guess we can get to those. But
we'll get to it, but
what we think are the best teams.
I have some thoughts on why Angels of Death aren't S tier.
All right,
that's already a front space in my mind.
Well, I think the team has a lot of really good things, and there's been nothing that I've seen played that can beat the team just handily every time. There is one team out there that can probably just spank them every time, but we will get to that when that team pops up, because
alphabetically
it's disgusting. And that, I mean, if we're looking at S tier, I guess what do each of these categories mean? Is S tier like the unconquering, like the team that's most likely going to win a tournament, or that is just like that just stomps every single player, brand new player?
Probably has the most tools to deal with anything without having any major hard counters.
Okay, and what is A?
A is mostly that, but it has some hard counters, which makes it more uphill, right?
Okay.
So
it doesn't create as many skew matchups, and I think that's where
probably
Angels
better.
of Death doesn't get into S tier in my mind.
Sure.
It doesn't have any specifically skew matchups or just bullies certain teams. I mean, except for Blades of Khaine. But
Yeah, they literally murder.
There's nothing.
There's nothing that you can do. I think a lot of elf teams are like that. B tier is what?
B tier, I would assume.
Are we going to say like B tier is kind of like the average tier?
But it's just not really.
I would say B tier is your average team. A great player taking it to a tournament can win, but they'll tend to have a fair amount of counters, require a lot of skill to play,
right, and some luck,
or something else that sort of holds them back from B tier.
So C tier is below par, and D tier is just like a failure to launch.
Like you literally can't win. This is like D tier is like Farstalkers in last edition.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing you can really do.
Yeah, I think I could do that. So like S tier is just like the super faction. A tier is really, really good. B tier is the
really
medium
solid,
power.
Yeah.
B tier is the baseline.
Is the lowest you could probably win with, and it's really hard to win with.
Yeah, and then C tier is like you're gonna struggle to win games, and D tier you're gonna
you'll struggle to win at higher tiers. At lower tiers you might do okay in C, but you're not winning the tournament probably with C.
Sure. So what's up next?
We have Blades of Khaine.
Well,
let's make the jokes now.
Right there.
Blades of Lame.
Blades of Lame. Blades of Lame. Chris, what are you thinking? I see you shaking your head.
This is you.
No, it just hurts my soul. I'm a diehard Eldar fanboy, and what pains me the most about Blades is they did get some good stuff. You know, all their strat ploys are better.
They are.
Would almost say is usable at this point, which is shocking.
Dude, I used it a lot.
Used it a lot.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it's remarkable. All their tack ploys were good before. They're still there, so they're still solid. And then the Dance of Death ploy is really fun. I like that.
Let me tell you, the one that you should take a lot, the one that you don't think that you should or that you need, is the ceaseless in melee. You should take that one. Just watch the battle report, and you'll be like, "Oh wow!"
I play that by default every turn.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it got slightly better in the new edition as well compared to the last edition one, and I still took that one. So the strat boys got better. The aspect techniques are most of the same. There's a little bit of change on the Howling Banshee ones, got a little bit nerfed. The Dire Avenger ones, side grades, except now there's a Lethal 5 one instead of the no cover one, which is probably better.
Yeah,
the problem is the meta around them has changed.
Yeah, I think Dire Avengers can also move and throw 2 grenades.
Yeah, because they don't have the sort of Astartes lock on what the double shoot action can be. So there's the mean move with like run forward and throw 2 crack grenades with the Dire Avenger, or with any XR can do it really. So you don't even need to take Dire Avengers for it. All that aside, the meta has shifted around them to a very unkind way. Intercession was already a bad matchup for them in the last edition, and I was sweating bullets anytime I sat down in front of an Intercession player. It sucked. And now Legionary Nemesis Claw can do the same thing to them.
Yeah.
And these matchups are essentially unwinnable now. Even the combined arm strategy will just fall over and collapse whenever things make contact, and heaven forbid the Marines start getting counteracts off. Blades of Khaine badly need a way to handle elites. Now the elites are.
I would not be surprised even if they lose into Phobos.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Phobos can pass too, so they can kind of force a lot of like things to counteract later.
Phobos is the one where maybe they have a chance.
Because the 12 wounds, it's easier to kill them.
Yeah, but is it?
Yeah,
you still died to 2 hits. You still died to 2 Space Marine hits.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
two criticals.
The Reavers just dead.
Oh yeah, Reavers for sure. 2 hits.
And it's like, sure, you can kill one of them with a double crack grenade if you take a Dire Avenger, but I mean, I think that Blades of Khaine still is an elf team where they have a chance to beat most teams. They have a chance. They have the 3 APL. They can spike and roll hard. But the problem is that dice are dice, and the majority of time we have to believe that they are going to function in a normal way rather than spiking hot or spiking bad, right?
And they don't get the advantage of counteract effectively because they're rarely going to get out activated that much, and they have to be on engage to counteract, which severely limits their options. So again, sort of being in the pseudo 3 APL space is rough for them because they're not Space Marines and they don't handle like them.
And they also can't do any mission actions for free. Once they start to fall over really fast. Especially like it was hard because like I went a one for one trade with a Vespid.
Oh, it's an awful trade.
I ran up and I killed a Vespid behind a door, and then he was like, the Vespid did 1 attack back, and then a different Vespid came around, had some sort of like lethal 5 thing, and then just killed me right back. And I was like, well,
yeah. Plus the Vespid had the ploy to do D3 additional damage on a crit. So theoretically, even if you took a normal hit earlier, they can still chunk you for 5 guaranteed.
Yeah. And like Vespids aren't even like great in close combat. So like
right. And the problem with the Vespids is if you get the charge off, you're going to take a little bit of chip damage, and they can just fly forward and shoot you and reliably clear you off the board.
Yeah.
Blades, that gun they have easily clears any 4-up save elf.
I still I think that Blooded and Vetguard have play into them, even though they have the I'm going to charge you to do 2 damage, hopefully get a crit. But if you don't get a crit, I take a hand axe, I'm still doing 3 to 4 damage back.
Right.
And like it's just so hard. They trade really poorly into every team. They suck against shooty teams because yeah, sure they have 1 with the gloom, but they have a 4-up save.
Right, they just die.
Banshees are still relatively they're nerfed from what they were. You know, they have a little bit better Rain of Tears, and that's about it. The team is just really doesn't feel good right now at all.
Yeah, I think they're
it's a little funny too because you got the notorious Banshee screen, you know, which is legendary, you know, curdles the brains of everyone, and it's limp compared to the equivalent like the Dirge-Maw screen, right? Like if you look at just the one Mandrake Dirge-Maw screen, which is like deletes Space Marines off the board, and then you got the Banshee one, which is just a tickle. I don't get it.
Yeah, Dire Avengers lost balanced.
Ooh.
I mean, there's just like
they permanently lost balanced.
Yeah, there's just nothing good to say about the team other than, you know, the strategic plays got better.
Well, yeah, the hilarious thing about the Dire Avengers is the ability they get to get accurate is anti-synergy with having rending.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst possible thing you could pick if you're trying to get rending to proc.
Yeah, balanced is like way better. Or a ceaseless. Don't give them ceaseless. That might make them busted.
It might make them fair.
I mean,
might be where they need to be.
I mean, who knows? I mean, we have to see where Games Workshop wants to go after their first data slate, whether they need to buff a bunch of teams or nerf a bunch of teams.
Right, and they still need data from
or
games.
Do they really like the high end right now and they just want to buff a bunch of bottom teams? Or do they want to... Games Workshop just loves to nerf things, so I'm sure they're going to try to find something in the middle rather than taking from the bottom and trying to bring them up.
Right.
But I would prefer to see bottom teams get stronger and then just kind of leave the top teams. I really like where elites are. I think they're really strong. Legionary, we'll talk about that.
We'll get to them in due time.
We'll
So we're all in agreement on D tier?
Yeah, so D tier for me. What about you?
Breaks my heart. But
yep, breaks my heart
that's
too.
what they are.
Blades of Lame.
Blades of Lame. And now we have Blooded.
Blooded. Ooh.
Some Chad.
I haven't looked a lot at Blooded. Chris, you were a huge Blooded player. I'm sure that I'm going to defer to you because you crushed people with Blooded last edition. Where do you think this team is?
I really like Blooded right now. I think they're a super, super solid team. They can still bring a horde of bodies when they want to. The Ogryn and Enforcer both got better from their prior counterparts. Overall, the team is improved with a lot of the specialists getting a little bit of tweaks to lead into what makes them strong. The Sniper has probably the coolest ability name in the entire game. And is just really, really rad to use. And is also one of the only perma-silent snipers left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Really? So the Blooded has a perma-silent sniper?
Yep.
Blooded has a perma-silent sniper.
So does Angels of Death.
Like 2 or 3 that I'm aware of in the game.
Wow.
There's Pathfinders still have theirs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Blooded has theirs, and then the Eliminator for AOD. I think
Yep.
is perma-silent.
That's cool. That is
You
cool.
said Scouts as well, right?
Scouts might.
Yeah, Scouts have theirs.
Okay.
Yeah. They just can't
At
move
any
with
rate,
it,
there's
yeah.
very few
Yeah,
left
exactly.
that have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild.
Really, really cool when it's there.
Yeah.
They might be doing it for operatives with camo cloaks or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the reasoning
That
there
makes
is.
sense. I don't know. Whatever they decide.
So Blooded, just a lot of their operatives are either unchanged or slightly better from how they were before. The tactical ploys are very similar, but the big change is on the strat ploys, which is just all across the board better and more useful. Overall, I think the team can definitely punch solidly at some various weight classes and isn't terrified of playing against elites. A lot of their tools that made them good against elites historically are still there.
What's interesting is that this is one of the few Horde teams that seems to have gotten a buff. Compared to most Horde teams, in my opinion, have gotten worse to a lot worse. So where would you slide these in? I'm just going to defer to you on this.
I would say overall they're weaker than Angels of Death, but still an A tier.
Okay.
That's where I put them.
Sounds good.
That seems pretty appropriate.
So we put them here below this team, Angels of Death, and then we'll kind of go to the next team.
We got Brood Brothers next. This is one of the newer teams, similar to Blades of Khaine from season 3, going into 3rd edition.
Is Brood Brothers even on here?
Do they even have a Brood Brothers?
Gosh dang it, tier lists.
I guess we will have to put them in. Oh, because there's also not the Jaegers.
That's okay.
We could use the Compendium Genestealer cult.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll use him in the meantime.
Yeah, we'll use them in the meantime. No one's going to know unless if they actually watch the video.
So if you're watching this, know that that's what it is. And if you're listening to it, know that it's Brood Brothers.
Yeah, so where would you put... I know that Brood Brothers did get worse, but they were really oppressive earlier, and they lost kind of their move dash, pseudo throw, big blast. They can still get something similar off, but a lot of the mines got like hella nerfed. The Patriarch still murders a lot of elites and stuff like that. Chris, what do you think about you main this team here at WTC and a few other events? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Brood Brothers is still really strong and probably one of the best Horde teams still left in the game.
Really?
Some of the support assets went away, which is a bummer for me, and are just replaced with like generic abilities and equipment, which is kind of lame. I really like that interference ability, or the thing before where you just tap somebody for -1 APL. It was great against Gellerpox. I think I'm looking at it now. I think that ability is just gone. I mean, it was pretty toxic against some teams, which I understand makes sense. So yeah, overall the team's very similar. I would still probably put them in A tier because they still have a lot of the bones and meat of what made them strong, and they still have ruthless coordination. They still have, I believe, Magus Brain Blast shenanigans.
Okay.
And now, yeah, so it looks like it's the same ability, and then it's replaced now with the wording for valid target, which now formally confirms that you can sit the Magus in a sniper nest and have the Magus be sniping people over light cover. All of that works now. Unfortunately, Magus can't shoot into melee like it used to, so that's a little bit of a nerf.
Shucks.
A well-deserved one. I would still put Brood Brothers in A tier probably.
Okay. I
haven't gotten games as or against them though, so if this turns out to be a little bit of an overstatement and they're actually just B tier, so be it. I definitely don't think they're S tier.
I don't think they're S tier either. The fact that they got a nerf, and like their Only in Death got nerfed to the same as Vetguard as well, which I don't think is weak, but it's not as strong as it was.
Right, not holding somebody in place instead just.
And the fact that their Mind Guy got nerfed, the Magus got nerfed. You know, I think that they are rightfully probably, I would say probably the bottom of A tier.
Bottom of A?
That's what I would say. But, you know, who actually knows? What's up next?
We got Chaos Colts.
Chaos Colts. Now, we did see them. I was going to say the F word, but I'm trying not to curse because my kid just said the S word. Shit.
Ooh, yeah, well, there you go.
He did just say that, so I'm trying to be better, and also the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it as much.
It doesn't like when we curse, but Chaos Colts, I can tell you, for one, getting to mutate 2 guys is awesome, always.
And
the
then
big
3
thing
and
is
then
that
4.
Mind Witch, who can just stand on advantage. Not the Mind Witch, what's the... Is it the Mind Witch?
It would be the Mind Witch is the silence magic sniper.
Yeah, who just goes like, here's -1 APL to this guy.
Now, was it a problem because it was Aquilions, and Aquilions really struggle with the -1s?
Yeah, anything where you're any guy who's just like a 2 APL dude who's not doing anything, because it's just like, all right, what do I do? I move. I'm not doing missions. I'm not shooting anything because you're hidden. Like, you just don't do anything.
Yeah.
So like that's a pretty good ability into 10-man teams that have 2 APL.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to put the team because they just did so well.
They're pretty strong, and like the abilities you can choose are pretty nice. Obviously, it's not nearly as oppressive.
They really enjoy the heavy cover that Volkus gives, and Into the Dark.
Yeah, Volkus is great
for them.
And
yeah,
there's a lot of TOs. I'm a part of a lot of TO chats across the world, and a lot. I think France. I just saw them have like 14 Hivestorm boxes. I know Australia bought a bunch. We're printing a bunch of 3D 3D prints for it, which we made, and will be available soon as STLs, or you can buy them. And then also we're making FDM versions. I mean, MDF versions. But before we start selling MDF terrain, we have to get our stock up because of LVO.
Right.
So those will be available later. But yeah, so that is.
It's a good team. The Blessed Blades are still fine. The ability for that one
minimum
guy,
B tier, minimum
at least. If and again, they're playing in a very favorable spot, so. I don't want to just say they're absolutely A, but
I do think that they are very strong because of the environment as well. But the thing is like, do they crush elites? Chris, what do you think? You also play this team. Man, you just play every team.
He just plays every team. He goes back and forth.
Yeah, Hot Cult Summer was amazing. Really, really good.
The summer of Melee. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mixed feelings on Chaos Cult. On the one hand, some of the fundamental changes to the edition, as being more kill focused, only having 3 objectives, but overall mission actions aren't as important anymore. All of these things help Cult a lot. I think the problem that they run into is that those melee monsters they had, the Torments and the Mutants, are just less durable than they used to be. Right, losing out entirely on the Feel No Pain, and it's much nerfed version now. Just makes them not quite be able to throw bodies in the meat grinder like they used to. And the cap of 1 torment a turn is also really painful. That really slows down your overall, torment consumption during the game. I definitely don't think that they're A tier, but I think solidly B tier.
So can you only have 1 torment out at a time, or is it 1 torment?
No, but you can only create 1 per turn.
That's right. So you can do 1 and then do it the next turn.
I would probably put them in B tier. I think that the team is really strong. They can probably punch well above their weight. But I think it's way too early, even for a too early tier list, to really put them any higher. But I definitely don't think that they are weak at all.
No,
I sort of forgot about this team. I actually want to get games with them this week because I want to sort of see how they're feeling nowadays.
They're really strong, Chris.
They're pretty strong.
They're very strong. They're very, very strong. Especially on Volkus, I think.
And whenever they can have a lot of heavy, just so like you can't be shot at.
Yeah, I think they would love Volkus. On the flip side, I think the current ITD map pack might actually be pretty painful for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to be creating a better map pack. GW's ITD maps are very, very bad. In fact, they are fantastic for Pathfinders Into the Dark. The only place that Pathfinders might be viable. Where is Colts? Colts.
Colts. Solid into B tier.
Solidly in the B tier.
And next, we got an elf team. We have the Corsair Void Guard.
So I'm a really big fan of the Corsairs, and I never got to paint them. And I'm really looking forward to, after I paint Ultramarines, I'm going to focus on painting Iyanden Corsairs.
Okay.
I'm very excited to
Keeping it pirates.
Yeah. And I'll probably even include Yariel like on the display board.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Make him the leader. F it. He could be your leader.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Really looking forward to the team. I love that they finally
got the weapon.
They finally listened to like 20 of our podcasts, the developers, and they're like, man, Squad Games really thinks these guys just need two gunners, and maybe they're right, but let's not let them take the blaster and the wraith.
Right, it's a very specific way of like when you take two gunners, you have to do it this way.
Now there was a hot take that people were saying that they think elves are bad in the edition. Blades of Khaine are bad.
But for different reasons.
How do you think Corsairs are going to do? Corsairs were really popular at the end of the last edition, even though they still had a 45% win rate or slower. They were still not performing very well. Chris, what do you think, brother?
I absolutely would slap Corsairs in A tier. And really the only thing keeping them out of S tier is some bad matchups and some teams that I think can eat elves alive, even Corsairs. That said, they still have basically everything that used to make them good. Plus, some of their operatives got way stronger and some way better abilities. The Kurnathi and the leader, I'm looking at you two.
They definitely got buffed.
They can flex more gunners if they want to, but they don't even have to. The change to light fingers is probably the only thing that hurts them, but the nature of the new edition and the amount of mission actions you're doing makes that honestly much less of a problem. So they're still pretty killy, and they do well in that department, but they can also play the mission decently well, with just having enough actions and mobility to make it happen like they need to. So, yeah, overall, definitely, I think Corsairs are a super strong choice. I'd probably put them above Brood Brothers.
Okay, fair.
Right.
We'll put them above Brood Brothers. I was thinking top of B or A anyways, but we haven't got to see the team on stream yet, but I'm sure
we haven't played against them. It's an experience.
I'm excited. We'll probably have to bring Rob, Hobby Highlander Rob, because he was a big...
Oh, I'm sure Rob
he was a big
love
fan of him.
Yeah.
And they are way more reliable and consistent than they used to be. So none of that nonsense we saw on stream with the Blades of Khaine, because these aren't your average chump aspect warriors. Okay, these are the real deal pirates. Okay, so they're consistent.
Maybe we should paint them like the Raiders.
There you go.
Yeah, the silver and
Raiders. I love it.
Yeah.
Solidly.
Put Las Vegas on their bases. Put them on a football field.
Dang, no Oakland love. I mean, they're Vegas now. They're purchased. They're Vegas.
What's up next?
We got the Lucidian Starstriders.
I have no idea. I hate this team's modeling so much. I refuse to look at their rules. I've never played against them. I never played against them ever. They rarely appear on stream. I'm not a fan of these guys. I like the dog. That's about it. I'm gonna have to defer to you two. Because I know nothing about Starstriders.
People who play them have said they want to try out a lot of the rules, so they seem to be hot on them, which is to say that they got some cool rules. But I also have not played against them. But again, it's early in the edition.
Is Vayne better? I know that
Vayne
they got
is now natively 3 APL. So
that's good.
So my buddy Sam, who you know, is maining Starstriders, so he got all up in their business on the new edition. Has been frantically sending me all the rules and talking about them this week. So I know he's gotten a few games in with them as well. So I think we have a decent sense of what they can do in the new edition.
The question is,
they're absolutely...
Can they beat Legionary?
Well...
That's the question.
So that's the thing. Regardless, they have some really fun toys to help. Their space laser is still there.
And they have a plasma missile.
Yeah, now they have the macro cannon plasma battery thing.
Yeah.
That's still pretty solid.
I did hear about that.
Yeah. They have a variety of fun tricks on different crack grenade delivery systems. Now that they have a lot more flexibility in who they put the crack grenades on.
Right.
Way more options for warrant of trade, and some of them are really, really fun and spicy. So, yeah, overall, I'm a big fan of this team, and I think they're overall better proportionally than they were last
better, because they were like A tier last time.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, I think
maybe
I think
bottom
what
of A.
hurts. I think what hurt Starstriders in the last edition was that they could kill decently well, but they started to struggle just with the action economy, mission actions, and they weren't able to really leverage that like some other teams could.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have the nerd and they have the dog, but the gimmick to like get the recover item thing. I mean, if you're burning an entire operative out of your 10 operative team just focused on that, like I don't even know if that's always a winning proposition. So I think overall the new edition was favorable to Starstriders overall, and I think they're in a better spot than they were in before.
Interesting. So that means you think that you put them in an A tier. I know nothing about the team, so I'm going to have to defer.
I think, unfortunately, and looking at the rest of the teams we're going to go through, I don't know how many more A tier we have, but I do think Starstriders are still A tier.
If we have more A tier, we'll probably break down A tier.
Right, and have to split them down, of course.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to have that problem.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's looking
tier
mostly
list
A.
is gonna. There's nothing in S tier so far.
But there's a lot of teams, so you know.
We'll get there.
We have Exaction Squad next.
Exaction Squad. I did hear that this team did get better, but they were like D tier last time.
They were a little tough.
You can't go anywhere except up from there. So in my opinion, they're at least C tier. I know the Subjector got better. But I don't know if the addition is actually favorable to them. Let's see here. Can we pull up Exaction?
The batons finally do 2/3 instead of 2/2.
That is amazing.
That is nice.
I love also that all of these things are in alphabetical order.
Yeah, it's very handy. Praise Games Workshop on their new site.
Yes, praise
Hooray.
it. Praise. So they had one Exaction Squad, so they have 11 operatives still, which is
cool.
I really love the models though.
They're nice models.
So is the sniper
really cool.
Is the sniper any better?
Yeah, the sniper got better.
Oh, thank goodness, because he was just like you never take the sniper. Is the dog good? Hell yeah.
It'd be sad if he wasn't.
Hell yeah. So the sniper, yeah, okay. So silent concealed position, okay. So 240 damage. What does that mean?
He always has devastating.
4 to wounds 4.
Just always.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, like but
it's not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's like the greatest. The upside is like you do more damage if they don't roll the crit.
But that's it.
And you just do it. I kind of like having devastating wounds plus damage because my opponent won't.
3, and then if they fail the crit save, you still take another 3
because they're going. I mean, this just gives you 4 at least. So there's
it's just not good. It's just not good.
It's different. It's different. I don't think it's.
Yeah, I mean it's still
different. It's still 4.
It's still slightly better than a traditional. Well, in a way, it's better because with the 3/3 mortal wounds 3, right, it's like got a different set of damage breakpoints. It's better against bad saves, but way worse against good saves.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. I agree.
Yeah, so there's like,
Yeah, it's definitely better than it was before.
It has lethal 5. It has lethal 5.
Yeah, if you get lethal 5 and ignore obscured.
Okay. So it's good.
But again, how many times do you even get to take the shot? Because you can't move with that profile.
No. Yep, you're in heavy.
That hurts.
You have to use like a fly dash, get up on top of something, and hope you don't die. Or get up on something and like stay there, you know.
I think in practice maybe you'll need to buff his APL, use the mobile profile, move and use optics.
Mm-hmm.
It's not super exciting though. I mean, I think overall the team had has edges rounded out. Definitely has some pretty solid operative choices. Some of them got a little bit better. You know, I'm not deeply familiar with the team.
I'm not deeply familiar with the team
their soul hasn't changed. Definitely their core functionality hasn't changed. And I think the edition change was very unkind to Exaction Squad. I think they're definitely going to struggle in the world as we see it now. I think C tier is appropriate. Exaction Squad was always really good about controlling the board, sort of locking down real estate, and slowly grinding on mission actions, which is a play style which I do not think will work in this edition.
Right, because with kill op and the tac op, which you could just go focus that.
And the breakpoint change was also extremely unfavorable to Exaction Squad. The 4/4 shotguns are massively worse into a 14 wound chassis because now they don't 3-hit anymore. They need 4 hits.
Right, which is a majority
and
of
they
elites.
have less P1. So it used to be that they got P1 anytime elites are close. Now it's like an equipment choice, I think, that they have to take. I think elites are going to steamroll Exaction Squad like they did when the team was released.
Like they always have.
Yep.
And yet they still
are way more durable than Blades of Khaine.
They still crush Blades of Khaine.
Well, it's funny because just the average Exaction Squad cop has the same number of wounds and the same armor save as a Striking Scorpion.
Hell yeah.
Which in lore has been described as having equivalent armor.
That's how good he is.
It's really funny. Now, if the Arbites guy is carrying a shield, now it's actually better than a Striking Scorpion.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? So I have my collector's edition of a Striking Scorpion of one of my codexes here from a long while ago. And let me just pull out something real quick. Something I'm passionate about.
I'm passionate about?
Passionate.
I know.
Very, very passionate. Hold on.
Also, fun fact, the blooded shield dude has 9 wounds.
Yeah.
And also I think a 3-up or a 4-up save. So a regular Humi is outdoing a Striking Scorpion.
Don't make me more frustrated than I already am, okay? Let me
my favorite thing, Dakota.
Let me read you this one sentence right here, okay?
Which they can't see.
They can't see it. Despite their relatively heavy armor, these aspect warriors are expert infiltrators, okay? They have heavy armor, not 4-up armor, okay? I'd love to talk about a Blades of Khaine changes video, which I would love to see.
Maybe in time.
It's also difficult because the team definitely struggles against the Shooty Horde archetype.
They do.
And Scorpions are really your only choice. And their mobility is nice, but the durability just fails them completely. And then they're really bad at hitting breakpoints they need against elites, so you don't even want to take them there.
Yeah, like Exaction Squad. They just...
This is becoming...
Exaction Squad consumes the heart and soul of Blades of Khaine.
This is becoming a hate on Blades of Khaine episode.
Just take your models off the board and go get a beer.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. Poor Blades of Khaine. The Blades of Khaine tier list.
Blades of Khaine.
Studied the blade for 500 years.
Yeah.
Gets face planted by a riot shield and loses.
No matter how fun the team is, if you lose every game, you're not having fun.
Right. It's just not fun.
Yep.
There comes to a point where it's not fun to play that.
What's next?
We got Farstalker Band. They got a slight change.
They can't go anywhere but up, right?
They got the thing so they can go into conceal now. I guess that's kind of cool.
They flipped their ploy to their faction rule and vice versa. And I looked at it, and it's definitely neat.
They can also...
It's better than the old faction rule they had.
I think in my opinion, I think Farstalkers are going to be very good with tournaments who use every single mission, right? They're really good at playing crit up, right? I know for my tournaments, I'm going to specifically
we're going to keep it to a few.
To 4
that are good.
Missions that we like that are less variables between high level players and lower level players. Because for instance, this team is phenomenal on sabotage. They can literally just press poach, go and steal your back objective so you can never score your objective, and you're already starting to win. And they can just sacrifice a model to do it. You know, they can just poach your objective, move up, blow it up. Doesn't matter if you have 4 Space Marines on it. They can just do it, right? I think this team is going to... They still have the same problems where they just die really easily. But they play the mission still really, really well. And Recon got a lot worse, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
A lot worse.
I think the worst has been Seek and Destroy so far.
Yeah, Seek and Destroy has definitely had its biggest...
Which, Confirm Kill is weird for me, because I felt like that should have been in Seek and Destroy, but it's in Recon.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, so I can do a Recon, play the mission, and play into Kill Up, and just wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like Overrun should have been Recon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just felt weird.
Yeah.
I think the Farstalker
hopefully when they update the cards again, right? Because they're supposed to do this once a year. At least that's what they told us at Nova. Hopefully they can fix some of these TAC ops that are just not good. Because some of the TAC ops, I don't think TAC ops should be easy to score. But there's just you never take. Why would you ever take
innately? This is a bad thing.
Why?
What's the point of taking it, right?
So I am unsure of where to put
I think
Kid
they're
Band.
I think they're in C
tier.
because they can at least play the tac op.
I
Or the
think-
crit
I've
up.
got
The crit up.
the hot takes.
Uh huh.
Okay.
I think they're D tier.
You think they're D tier?
I think they're D tier.
Really?
I think the edition change has been incredibly unkind to Kroot.
Okay.
And outside of maybe certain crit ops where they can achieve glory, the fact is that a lot of games are going to be a mosh pit in the center of the board where they're just going to collapse.
I'm not
Particularly
against
because, as far as I can tell, they've lost their GA2, which was one of the sources they had for burst damage before, and that's gone.
Yikes.
A few other specialists got better, for sure, but Angels of Death are going to just run riot over this team.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I mean, all elite teams are.
They've done it before. They'll do it again.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against putting them in D tier, so I'm not.
I'm not
gonna
against it
use
either
them.
because I'm
I'm gonna put them in front of Blades of Khaine.
I don't know, Blades of Lame.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would absolutely say they're better than Blades of Khaine.
So what are we looking at next?
We got the Fellgor Ravagers.
Fellgor Ravagers. Fellgor Ravagers.
A buddy's played them, and I think they're all right. They still play decently.
I mean, they're at
They're
least
still
a B tier.
Yeah, they're still Fellgor.
They still look
Like
good to me.
Frenzy's still a thing, but they did change Frenzy to be every kind of thing when they Frenzy the first time counts as the kill, where before it was like only certain things they wrote counted as. Now it's just anything that counts it as.
Yeah, they made it less cheesy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the first time around, they just failed to say, example, this, and that. They just said this, and that.
Right.
So anything that isn't in the list you just made is rules as written out.
Exactly.
And what you have to FAQ it every time a team gets released where there's a kill mechanic. Come on.
Right, because you just have to innately.
Yeah.
You got to change the rule to be like whenever it happens.
Yeah.
I think they're still solid, and with Volkus coming out and being heavy, where they can hide and stuff, and they like that.
Fellgor.
Yeah, no, I
think
think Fellgor like Volkus.
Yeah, I think they like
There's a
Volkus.
fundamental change, though, in Counteract. Like, just the existence of Counteract is a massive problem for this team.
I can see that. Yeah.
Fellgor have always relied on the hug strategy.
Right.
And so what this allows you to do is two things. Like, theoretically, some sort of, shooty team gets out-activated a little bit, and so has some Kasrkin trooper just counteract fight, right? And just see what happens, see if it gets a lucky crit against the Frenzy Fellgor. That wasn't there anymore. And then, heaven forbid, you're fighting against something like Angels of Death, where some angry assault intercessor is throwing 5 dice, just chewing through Frenzy Ghosts on counteract. That didn't exist anymore. You used to be able to mob the Marine with a bunch of goats, right? And it couldn't do anything.
Right.
So counteract fundamentally breaks some of what this team wanted to do originally, which, even though mechanically they're very similar than before, I would definitely knock them out of A tier and
I put them in B tier.
B is.
tier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are going to get run over by elites.
Yeah, elites are going to crush them.
They already struggled into elites, especially, interestingly enough, Intercession last edition.
You
could
could
still
do
beat
okay
them
with
on
Legion,
the regular,
Yeah.
even though like Intercession fell out of favor. I think you just take a bunch of intercessors and you take
Assault with the tilting shields and
tilting
you're just like
shields and
grenades.
dueler
Yeah.
and aggressive.
Yep,
Just
frag crack grenade,
Yep.
destroy the Fellgor.
power sword,
Yep.
Power sword leader.
Fox
4-6.
grenade launcher, ignore obscuring, LOL.
Yep.
So we're going to put the Fellgor in B tier. Though I don't know if Colts or Fellgor are better.
Colts has kind of a slightly cooler range. I really think that Mind Witch getting rid of APL is stronger.
My on paper tells me I think Fellgor win in the 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which is better broadly.
So I think we keep it where they're at right now. Alphabetical order.
My original disclaimer stands where this is very, very speculative.
This
too
is
early.
this is very too early. Or really we're just dunking on. How did they do against Blades of Khaine? They
well.
beat them.
Ironically,
They beat them.
one of the few matchups I think Blaze is pretty solid into. as well.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
They beat the goats.
So the weirdest thing from last edition was that Fellgor and Gellerpox were actually really solid for Blades of Khaine.
Yeah, you just
They liked those two teams.
you take a lot of Dire Avengers into Gellerpox.
Oh, that was
In the Gellerpox, I would take Dire Avengers, but into Fellgor, you could just go Mono Banshee, and just every time a Fellgor looks at you, there's a Power Sword waiting there. That's awesome.
4-6
And then you can just do Rain of Tears. So
And then you do double parries whenever you can. You do screams all the time to nerf the APL, do a little chip damage. It got nasty. And you still just blasting with shuriken pistols when you're bored. That's great.
Okay.
Fair.
So yeah, B is solid for them. That makes sense. So then we go into Gellerpox Infected. They did take a bit of a nerf.
Gellerpox did get a nerf.
Did get a nerf.
I've played them once. The person that played them incorrectly on certain things. But
right.
I still I played Vetguard against them, and my Vetguard got annihilated. It didn't really matter.
Okay.
I think it's mainly a Vetguard problem than it is a Gellerpox problem.
Okay.
But if they cannot be lower than B tier in my opinion, unless if you're saying that Curse Mites don't get the GA2, and they have 15 activations.
But I still think that at least.
I mean, rules is written, Giacomo.
Right, yeah.
They have 15 activations.
They forgot to write the GA2.
At our tournaments, they will not.
I mean, arguably, the remove, like, them not being GA2 might make the team worse. Because they start getting the shit counteracted out of them.
That's true, because counteract is stronger.
Yeah, that fundamentally game changes. So many times where you get locked up by some random bug, counteract, fight, get rid of it, right? Like, you couldn't do that before. So the game has changed a lot around Gellerpox. I definitely would not put them higher than B, and in fact, I would probably put them in C.
Wow. They did.
I put them in B tier because they beat the shit out of me.
But that depends on what you think Vetguard is. You know,
I have my opinions about
right,
it.
because if Vetguard is Deathcore is in D tier, of course a C tier.
Oh, what's funny is on the app that we're going.
Oh yeah, we're going by.
Deathcore is actually Veteran Guard, so they're going to be at the end of the list.
So technically we should have done them first, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think are they better than the Space Cops?
Yes.
Then I think they're high C.
I would definitely say they're better than the Space Cops. That said, Gellerpox got the wind knocked out of them hard on two things. One, the durability of the hulks is massively, massively less, and it's in a more consistent way, right? Like, it was very difficult to plan around before. The second thing is they've lost a lot of their melee consistency. Before, that ploy Blessings of Infection, I think, made you basically guarantee you could not get less than one hit in melee, and you usually got 2 to 3, 2 natively plus 1 from that ploy. That changing severely, knocks the wind out of the sails here on the team a lot. Even though that they like going to the center and having a mosh pit, I still don't think that in general the new edition favors them that much either. I would put them in top of C tier.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got outvoted. We'll put them in top.
I definitely like their mechanical implementation more this edition. I just think either other teams need to change a little bit or they need a little bit of a boost.
I definitely think that Gellerpox are still strong and they still will really bully people because you still have to play differently into them. But yes. I do agree that with them having so many counteracts and them also having so many operatives that are melee operatives, they could struggle into Space Marines, all elite factions, a little bit more, for sure. I definitely think that's a possibility. But Thrice Cursed still does, their hulks still do a lot of damage.
Flamethrowers still do hella damage.
A lot of damage.
Didn't Thrice Cursed just lose a dice, though?
What is he down to 5 instead of down?
That guy used to be 6.
Yeah, and then he got up damage because Flamethrowers got better.
Is it 8-inch now? I guess we can look.
No, he's 6-inch. His Flamethrower is 6-inch.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember a buddy and I were like, "Oh, that sucks! I can't believe this is the change."
I love how the website is totally
absolutely in order. And then the change to their the cursing of their equipment and stuff is a little different now.
Yeah, I really love mechanically a lot of what they did.
Yes.
The new rules, I like it a lot as a translation of the theory of Gellerpox into practice. Right, I really like the translation of the lore hitting the team. I really like how the Hulks are speed 5 now. I don't understand why they were ever speed 6 in the first place, but speed 4 would have been a little cruel to the mass edition, so I get it. But I think that helps a lot with just slowing down the team and making them less mobile in general. That inch off the top for all the Hulks really helps.
Barge is also less useful than it used to be, but it's still good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, 3/3 damage.
No, so it's not more damage. It just lost
a dice.
Yeah, 3
dice.
Yeah, 3/3 damage, range 6, saturate, torrent 2.
Was it torrent 2 before? I think so, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that didn't change.
so the Pyre Gut is the same as it used to be, except -1 dice. And then he gained the Deluge,
which can go behind
mode of
like,
attack.
Yeah, that's kind
which
of
is
nice.
it's way worse. It's only useful possibly in like Into the Dark if you're trying to get into a room. But
Right,
the
and you have
rooms are
some
so
light.
big, they're hard. It's going to be hard for him to get
Oh,
in.
then
anyways.
it's still Seek Light, so it doesn't
Right,
work.
Seek
if you're
Light's still-
kind of heavy.
Yeah.
It's not even full Seek.
Yeah, it would have to
So-
be Seek Light, and people would have to put the right barricades forward. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he has it, but I don't think it's game breaking.
yeah, this guy still does 8-9 damage with 1 attack, which is not great. 5-6, still pretty good. And nothing else has really changed. Yeah, all right, I'll give it to you guys.
It's
What's up
we
next?
have next. See, I went a little too far. We have
There is a very hilarious thing with the
Uh-huh.
Gellerpox team, the Glitchling Small rule. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Can you give them the portable barricades so they could just never get shot? I'm sure.
Probably.
It cannot perform unique actions, which I think stops the portable
If I'm doing the
barricade.
okay.
However, the funny part is the small rule. If you read the second sentence,
This operative cannot use any weapons that aren't on its data card, okay, or perform unique actions, okay.
that's pretty standard.
Yeah. Whenever this
then-
operative is in cover, it cannot be selected as a valid target, taking precedence over all other rules. So it has super conceal.
Now, you said the word conceal there, which is interesting.
Oh, it doesn't.
It
even
has super
have,
super
It doesn't
defense.
even need conceal.
Yeah.
It has super can't be shot.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny.
So is that intentional?
Probably.
I think they're missing the word conceal there.
I mean, if not, these guys are 3-wound pieces. You just slap them once they go down. But if you
But
hide them,
literally,
yeah,
if it's in cover, it can't be shot.
yeah, if you just hide them, then you're
So
good.
you have to get within 2 inches to shoot it.
That's crazy. That is fun. That is exciting.
Seek Light won't get around this part either, right? And
Nope.
Nope.
Well,
They can make sure-
that's a really great question.
Well, you can't be selected as a valid target, so it's not. You can't seek it because it's not a valid target.
But the thing is,
The Seek lets
Light
you-
says
lets you make
regardless
it-
of selection, you're not in cover.
Right.
That's the problem.
You can then be selected as a
gosh.
target.
Games Workshop, come on.
Yeah, it's,
The Seek and Super Conceal rules do not seem to interact how maybe the intention of the writers maybe thought it should. It seems like something's wrong. But
Yeah, it seems like a couple people wrote some of these teams because some of these teams are ridiculous compared to some of the other
you
ones.
know, it is what it is. Well, next we have Hand of the Archon.
Hand of the Archon. Chris, you played this team. I have not looked at this team at all, though I have started painting mine. Have they gotten better?
I think they got more well-rounded. The Torment Grenade is definitely way worse than it used to be.
Oh, well, it's super
But the
cheesy.
team has just a lot more tools in general. I think they have more ways of getting pain tokens early. I don't think the team's fundamentally different, and I still think they're going to run into a lot of the same problems they had before. They're super killy, but I think that's about it. And there's other teams that are also super killy, so they're just, they're playing a strong game, but I don't think they have anything that makes them special. For me, they'd be top of B tier.
I was like, are they better than Corsairs? But it doesn't sound like it.
No, I would definitely say that they're not better than Corsairs.
Okay,
And I think they'd get their teeth kicked in a fight versus Corsairs. I think Corsairs have that in the back.
that's fair. That's fair.
We then next have Hearthkin Salvagers.
Oh boy,
The
am I getting
Salvagers.
written the book this edition?
Probably. I mean, they got some of their glow ups in.
I know
end
they
of
got
third.
better, which they were already in B tier, so I
Right.
would not be surprised if they make it to A tier. I know that they're actually good into elites, and right now we're kind of in a meta that you want to be good into elites because they are, some of the majority of the top teams. But they still have a 5-inch mood, but it's much better in this edition because you can't get all your points stolen from you turning point 1.
Right, so they don't
innately,
suffer from that.
This edition is going to be better for them already because they can actually fight a fair fight because they don't get outmoved.
Yeah.
Right?
They play the mission decently, like the crit op mission.
They have a lot of operatives. They have a
They
lot
have
of
a lot
big
of
guns.
operatives. They have a lot of different operatives to select tools for.
I would probably put them.
Everyone gets plasma knives now.
Yeah, I know.
If you take the
It's
equipment, so
ridiculous.
it's just like, of course you take the equipment for plasma knives.
I'd probably put them in B tier because I think their brothers are still in A tier. but I think I'd put them at the top of B tier.
Yeah, I think they're decent in B tier.
But Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I would also agree with you. Stuff in B tier. They seem very similar to their sort of exiting the last edition incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To me, the changes that they've gotten put them solidly somewhere in B tier. It's at this point it's so speculative. I couldn't say they're top or bottom of it, but they're definitely solid. They definitely have some good play into elites. That said, they also might struggle against some other teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which may not be typical teams in B tier to struggle with. So
yeah. What are we looking at next?
We have the Jaegers.
Oh, they're brothers.
Yep, they're
Who
brothers.
is also not on
this list.
So we will replace them with something.
Justian. No, I'm kidding.
We'll replace them with somebody on this list, and then
give them the demon. Make them the demon because they go demon mode.
Yeah, I think they're easily.
easily in A tier.
In A tier.
They're fast. They the bombs
they
and
do
shit.
4/4. Their bombs force you to stop moving.
Their ability to just climb and be on top of something with the dudes is just like wow. They're
the
aggressively
fact that
fast.
they can start on a vantage.
With
the
ladders and everything. Like
oh gosh, this team is bananas. Chris, what do you think? Do you agree with us on this?
So I, in the last edition, have always been very critical of Jaegers. I kept hearing that they're really good and no one's figured them out yet, and I don't really remember anyone really figured them out last edition. I've not gotten to play against them this edition. All I've heard is some horror stories, but I haven't seen it for myself. So I'm gonna have to defer to you guys. Okay. If you think that they're A tier, I'll follow your lead.
I definitely think they're.
I think they're A tier for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is sad because
they're
like
definitely one inch faster than they used to be.
I think they erased one letter out of the book for me.
One. It's like
just one letter.
Just one. All right. He's good now.
Yeah. Yeah. They can't find me now.
We got the Skeleton Boys. We got the Hierotech
Circle.
This is a weird one because I hear they got kind of nerfed with some of their reanimation stuff.
But then I heard that
it's good because some of the reanimation got better.
And then some other things got buffed on the team.
Like the one little bug does 4 or 5 damage with this like Tesla shot or whatever. So it's just like what?
They definitely I think just side graded. So I probably
you can take like 5 death marks and that's apparently good now. I think it's silly. Preliminaries as I haven't played against them. I think B is just a safe bet. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I would say B tier. I think they're a side grade from where they exited the last edition.
Yeah.
With some of the nonsense moves they had being taken away, with overall just more consistency and resiliency. I think some of the tools they have are pretty problematic against melee teams. That thing where it does damage to you when you charge them is really obnoxious. But I'm a huge fan of the updated reanimation protocols, and I really hope that no matter how else the team changes, that it stays more or less like it is now, where operatives always drop the token when they die. I really don't like having to do a ploy to see if you get straight even drop the token.
That's fair.
Which might have been an issue of how they originally made them, and then they just had to keep changing them. Which so this is just now they get to do that full clean change. And next we get one that I haven't seen anyone play, and honestly I forgot they existed.
Gosh. Dude, I've looked at
Hunter
this team.
Clade.
They make me go to sleep. It's like reading a textbook. It is awful. It is awful to even try to understand the team. It reminds me of this team in 8th edition, where it was literally just a textbook, and they're like, "Oh, on turning point 1, you can't shoot me or do any of these 10 different things, but on
I remember that. I hated that.
Yeah, and there's a reason why they got nerfed into the ground because everyone just despised them.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
When you try to read this team, it's like trying to learn binary, and it literally just hurts.
Zeros and
it
ones.
hurts my soul. Chris, are you familiar with this team at all?
Yeah, I've read through their rules.
Did it hurt your brain? Seems like it's up your alley.
I would say it still puts me to sleep. I wouldn't say it hurts my brain.
Okay, puts you to sleep. Right.
I'm not, so I'm of two minds. I think, one, I really like that deprecations are back. I think it's a more interesting way to do the team as opposed to just making a reskin of Kasrkin.
Right.
So I really like that part. But overall, yeah, a little bit torn.
Oh yeah? How are you torn, my friend?
I want to love them. With only being stuck at 10 operatives, even with all the cool sort of like gadgets they have, the ability to like basically overclock as one of their moves, which I really, really like. like supercharge whatever optimization they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not enough for me to put the team above C tier right now.
Whoa.
I don't think they can manipulate the game enough. They're just not good enough at killing. They aren't particularly good at doing mission actions. I think they're a more well-rounded team and a more fun implementation compared to last time. But I do think some of their specialists need a little love and they just need a little boost.
You think Gellerpox and the cops are better than them?
I can't say.
All right, so you can keep them in just a solid C somewhere.
Yeah, solid C. Solid C. Fair.
The one thing that always turns me off of this team isn't so much like I'm okay with the goofy aesthetic of being like this crazy steampunk machine, but what turns me off is just how many models you have to buy, like to properly make this. Yeah, it's like Inquisition and same thing with Wormblade because you got to buy all these heroes. Like yeah, you could customize and make them yourself, but like otherwise. It's kind of expensive.
Mm-hmm. They're expensive teams to run.
They're expensive. Sure. It's just like it's one of those that I would play them, but it turns me off from the price. Anyways, moving on, we have the Imperial Navy Breachers.
I've heard this team is awful. I haven't read very much about them because I've heard nothing but negative reviews about this team.
Really?
Nothing but negativity.
I don't think we have. Do we have a friend who plays any of these? I think the only person I knew was Miles.
Not Chris. Jimmy Kelly used to play this team. In fact, he took him to Worlds last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We're not going to talk about where he plays.
He plays everything, so I don't really count him as like maining a team. You know.
I would agree.
He you know.
Yeah, so there's something really funny about the Breachers, and that is, as far as I know, Breachers are not a one-box team anymore. They were last.
I did hear this. I heard this.
Wouldn't
which is pretty brutal.
Wouldn't they kind of not last one either because you had to buy the extra bodies?
So before, if you bought the box, you could legally play the team. Now, if you buy the box, you cannot legally play the team.
Oh no, that's dumb.
Because they need 12
It's a rather brutal change.
Oh.
They have security and they have seek and destroy. Both are rather difficult to score. I don't think security's great. And seek and destroy is
I
like
don't
security.
Think this team does not like seek and destroy at all. I think they're forced to play security and they're not especially good at it. So I don't think the tac cop game is something that they particularly like.
Yeah, it's security. You're like forced to be really tanky.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And this team is just a 7-wound team.
I guess that's why it works for Angels of Death because they can be tanky and be like, I have the center.
Yeah.
You know, like you try to take me off. I'm a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. When these guys don't have it, the Void Armor's cool, but like, Breach and Clear is still cool, but like, I'm upset about that 2-box team thing. That's annoying.
So Breach and Clear is just GA2? You don't get to retain a crit anymore?
Oh, really?
Well, that wasn't part of Breach and Clear originally.
Oh. So you just GA2?
That's because people would do Breach and Clear in that ploy.
There's the combo.
Like Blitz or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so definitely being dropped to 7 wounds. I mean, one, it bothered me that they're always taking stims every time before. So, I mean, I like that change.
Mm-hmm.
But it still means that now the brace for counterattack breakpoints aren't necessarily too sexy for them. So, you know, brace for counter, their strat ploys are still mostly the same. Their attack ploys are still more or less the same, although
Bullets got worse. Gives you accurate 1 and gives you severe. So I guess it guarantees you a crit if you don't.
Yeah, and Close Assault got worse as well, I believe.
Yeah,
a little bit worse. It gives you punishing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is the
So
Axe-Jack still good?
Together, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
And the Cracker Jack is obviously still awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, losing the stims, and overall, the team is very telegraphed with what it does and not particularly fast, which I think is going to make them really, really struggle, really doing well at the crit op or any of their tac ops. Wow. And you know, they're killy. They can bring stuff down, but that alone, I don't think is enough to really keep you in the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in C tier.
I think they're C tier.
I mean, maybe C tier could be too generous, but we'll do C tier.
Bottom of C tier?
Bottom of C tier.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. I don't think the team doesn't look particularly good. A lot of the things that they did well or bad, they suck at this tac ops, right? They used to really like heavy terrain, and now it's like, I mean, maybe somebody's going to come out and prove us wrong, and I would love to see it.
They'll get it, and
also a subtle change that really I think kicks this team in the gut because of how close they need to get is the 1 inch to move through hatchways. Which means that they're going to be way slower on ITD to like get into rooms and close enough to kill stuff.
Yeah,
you still need one for hatchways as well. I thought it was regular doors. I thought the 1 inch was only on regular doors. Is it also hatchways?
It's also on ITD.
Is it really? Just to move through it, or is it to open?
Correct. No, to move through.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's annoying.
That is bad. That's so bad. That is right.
That
Razor
was
wire.
why when I sent you that picture of the razor wire, why it was so flipping funny because it's a 5-inch penalty to just start moving.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's pretty nuts.
Hilarious.
Well, next we have the Inquisitorial Agents.
I think we found our first S tier, ladies.
Time has come.
Boys and gents.
The long-awaited.
The first drop in S tier. Obviously, they're not like the craziest best in melee, but they have so many options to choose from that they can kind of put it in their favor.
You're wrong. They can choose to take 5 Sisters of Silence.
You're right.
Who stop
if they want.
Yeah, if they want to stop. 5 Sisters of Silence might be good into Legionary. You can't cast any spells into them. They all do 4/6
How's
damage.
it going, Warp Coven?
Yeah, how's it going?
All right. Good point.
They can also take 5 sisters who ignore psychic and flamers. 5 flamers, 5 gunners, but that are flamers.
You're right.
Bigger, better, busted.
Solid point.
But we're not even at the best part of the team. To me, that's the Scions.
Really, you like the Scions?
Yeah, they hit on 3s. And you're allowed to take 2 gunners with the Scions.
Ooh, that's
so you're allowed to take the Meltagun and you're allowed to take the Plasma.
Yeah, pretty good ones.
And then the Ogren, you could give them the multi-melta, right?
For the gun? The servitor?
Yeah, for the servitor. Or you can the plasma cannon. And then you have your pistolier who always hits on 3s no matter what. So even if she injures herself from going on hot, she's still hitting on 3s on her next activation.
Right.
It's crazy.
We knew the rest of the shooting was always great and phenomenal, so that was never going to go away. Absolute authority, turning things off. Obviously, there is a slight counter with other teams that you can figure that ways around it with that, but it's they're still good.
This is probably the only way that you should run Veteran Guard or Death Corps, because you can take the Confidant and then you could GA2 with the Pistolier, which is probably the best.
You're taking every AP weapon known to man.
Yeah.
So notably what got removed from this team between editions was the lock on AP weapons. And somebody has to bring down these scary elites. So I am looking very much at Inquisition right now.
I bet you are, because they are redonkulous. Their Legionary can still do well into them, but, that's Legionary.
It depends on how you play, and if you go first, combos go in your favor. Well, anyways.
The nice thing is that even if you ignore piercing, the lethal 5-up overcharge plasma now is still pretty nice, right? Now
5/6.
You're not getting more AP, you're getting the more crits.
Right, which is cool. 5/6. So it changed, and 5/6 is still 5/6 damage.
Yeah, this team is just cooked. It's cracked. I don't know what happened. Like think about this. Games Workshop designed that team, and they also designed Blades of Flame, right? Like they actually did that. They did that.
They did it on purpose. They was like, we're going to make this one better and just really mess with Dakota.
Yeah.
Well, next we got the Kasrkin.
Kasrkins, huh?
Yeah, they're not kin or Kasrnots because they're neutral. We're still learning. Do they have a picture of a Kasrkin?
Where are they?
Am I not seeing one?
They have to be here. I think I just saw them.
They're an older team.
Right over here.
Ah, they're hiding.
Yeah, I can't see them because there's the pictures. It's gone. Yeah, that's where I put them.
That's exactly where they should go.
I'm really sad they lost elite points. I was always a big champion of elite points. So that was a cool mechanic to simulate.
It just simulates that they hit on 3s anyways.
I think if elite points change to maybe not necessarily be like increase the stat of your shot, but instead you spend it to do obviously an elite ability. Because now they just have 4 elite abilities, and you pick one. You do your ice in your veins. Whatever, all that other good stuff for those who get that.
Yeah, it's a it's one of the few teams, the handful of teams that has this very same, pick one of 4 things to spec into,
Right.
Shoot better, move better, melee better, or defense better. And I've just, after seeing that on a few different teams, it was a disappointment to see Kasrkin doing it. I was hoping to keep elite points around in some form.
Right, in something.
Yeah, even if it's going to change. And even if they hit on 3s, right, even giving them that, I just wish elite points were still a thing to make the team more unique.
Yeah,
I think they're, now they're going to just be a bunch of guys hitting on 3s in a mosh pit, and I don't know what makes them special enough to really be able to compete. And I do think that some of the boogeyman elites can definitely run over them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's just like I was talking to someone like, what's the difference with them and Aquilons? Because they're very similar when it comes to like profiles and stuff, and the elite traits they get are just okay, I guess. Like, cool, the extra inch is nice. Getting to, I forget all of them off the top of my head, but like they're nice. But maybe if you had elite points to make a better version of each one each time or something, like to pay it like a reason to do it. You always get an ability, but then you can improve the ability. Obviously, you'd have less elite points throughout the game.
Yeah, they're just very uninspired.
Yeah, it just feels all right. Like, okay.
Glass half cooked on that team.
Yeah,
All right.
they're just okay. I'll still play them. I have them, but I mean, like since I also have
I'll be able to
Aquilons,
use my models for Kasrkin when I play them with my Inquisition.
yeah, I guess you could do
You're
that.
really going to take Kasrkin instead of Scions?
I mean, like you could still have the recon is still
I just
good.
do not like the Scion sculpts.
Really?
I also hate the Scion sculpts. They look like bugs.
I'm okay with it. I don't hate it as much as you guys do. I like the little backpacks though. I don't really love the jump packs. I prefer the backpacks.
That's fair.
With the little bedroll.
Yeah, I think Kasrkin are still the better choice. I would need to look at the specialists, but I think Kasrkin are still better on paper.
All right.
The recon trooper's still good.
On 3s, I think it's hard to find a reason to play Scions, but
Scions also hit on 3s, and they're allowed to take 2 gunners.
It's because
Kasrkin can only take 1 gunner.
It's because you get them in the
Kasrkin
box.
can take 2 gunners. Am I crazy?
You're crazy. You are incorrect.
All right, let's find out. Now we have to know. Now we gotta know.
Yeah. Inquisition. Where's Inquisition?
Brother.
Yes.
You've been spreading disinformation. Brother.
Oh man, the Inquisition's gonna take you out for that.
Now.
You're in the book again.
I'm in speed reading, but not accuracy reading.
We're speed reading here, guys.
What does it say?
Well, what do the rules say?
Kasrkin.
Other than trooper, obviously you can do 1.
Sharpshooter. Oh, I guess you can take 2 gunners. Oh, well, look at that. I've been spreading.
Yeah, more than 2 of these operatives combined.
Yeah,
but the Kasrkin sniper kind of got nerfed too. He has the one-time shoot with silent, and then it's gone.
So why would you ever take Scions?
Right.
Your team can include only up to 2 gunner operatives.
You take Scions,
but then you take the other specialists, right? You can still take the medic.
Right.
Scions have a medic, but so you still take the medic, and then the Vox trooper, which is better than the same as the Vox operator. And then either the recon trooper or the demo trooper, depending on what you want more. And the recon trooper is evidently cracked, from what I hear.
Yeah, and the demo trooper is also pretty decent because when you die, you place your mine.
Right.
Imagine Scions, but better.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So like the reason you take Septis of Scions is because you own the box that it came with, and that's it.
Well, or you're like doing a really specifically cheesy. You need 25 mil bases.
Oh, you're right. You know they have. There's one difference is the sizes because they're roughly the same wounds, right? They're both 8 wounds.
Correct. Same wounds, same save, same accuracy, same weapon.
I mean, I don't want to be totally negative on them. So one thing I do like is that the sergeant is 3 APL.
Yeah, it's a cool change.
That's a cool change. And then he has this like command ability for stuff. It's kind of cool. But that's like it.
I think they're Kasrnots right now.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they can regain their crown. But...
I'm not feeling like too inspired on them. You know, I'm not like sold on them hardcore. So that was Kasrkin. Let's move on to Kommandos.
Kommandos. Ooh, that's easy for me.
Kind of a boogeyman for them. You know.
I definitely put Kommandos in the A tier category.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kommandos are super strong.
You don't think they're not broken, which is true.
I don't think they're broken, but I still think they're really good.
10 wounds is still hard to break.
Yeah, it'd be a hard move to pass me down.
I think I would agree. Like I was playing multiplayer or the joint ops, and essentially the mediums are kind of what they play as, and I was like, damn, these guys are kicking our ass. Like, these guys hit hard.
They still kind of get crushed by elites.
Yeah, you can still absolutely double tap them.
But they should still really hurt a lot of shooty teams.
Right, things on the way.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to think. I mean, they could be at the bottom of A tier. You know, they could be. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I think the new edition Kommandos have shifted as far as I could tell and do a little bit more of a shooty play style, which I get, but shooty play styles are easier than ever to deal with, and smoke grenades exist, and Volkus exists, which I think is not kind to Commandos.
Dude, I think you just take more boys. I think that's the problem.
You just take boys?
I think you just take boys. Their boys are insane. Like their warrior operative is
This is a warrior operative that is like, it's a slam dunk.
This and the
and it feels good. It doesn't feel like super broken though.
Yeah,
it's decent.
Where is the
Kommandos?
Kommandos. Let's close these. So if you go down to their boy operative,
the boys.
This is where their melee damage is at. You leave the sniper at home.
A few.
You leave the sniper at home because he's not good. Oh my gosh! Yeah, the boy right here. So they can take smoke. They can take stun. They have a 4/5 damage. Choppa. They're just super strong.
It's the 4/5 Choppa, really. That that's the crazy 4/5 damage.
It hits so many different breakpoints. Has 4 attacks, you know.
Right, but they had this in the last edition too, right? And it wasn't particularly impressive that players weren't just taking a bunch of boys. Players were putting choppas on their specialists.
But I mean, the Breacher Ram got better, you know. I think the Burner Boy is also better, but so is the Comms. I don't know about the DACA, but I don't think I take the sniper whatsoever.
Really? You don't like the sniper?
No, I don't think that. I think the sniper's bad.
I think he's fine. He's stationary, 5 attacks, 3 with devastating 2.
But
he doesn't
just
move.
Recall how in the current edition of Kill Team, how critical the sniper was to the way Commando players played.
Yeah.
Imagine that threat. Like, imagine the team, but now you'd rather take a boy. And the boy is the same in the new edition as it is in the current edition. I mean, save for getting to use some of the utility grenades, which are neat, right? Those are fun.
Right, it's nice to have it.
But that's an action they're doing instead of charge fighting.
Yeah.
I would not put this team in A tier right now.
Oh, really? What do you think, G?
I think they got side graded from last edition.
What are you voting?
I don't know. I think those numbers are still pretty good. Can we put them at bottom of A, top of B? One of those two?
Well, you get the deciding vote now, my guy.
I think elites are too good in this edition that it just pushes them down to B.
That's fair.
Just enough.
We can put them top of B tier.
I can live with top of B tier. They have the numbers.
I do not think this team is DOA, right? I'm not saying that.
Not
I'm
at
saying
all.
They are not what they used to be.
I still think this team is relatively competitive.
They're still really strong.
Well, that's what B tier is, though.
Yeah,
Relatively
you still win with them.
Perfect.
Yeah, Sniper's not always an auto take anymore. He's a choice take now. The boy's useful, and let's move on to our problem child, Legionnaires. They're not really a problem child. I just wanted to say that.
They're everyone's problem child now.
They're a problem. They're a problem. I don't know who made this team. I don't know what's better, Inquisition or Legionary. Legionary are ridiculous. I think Inquisition are harder to play than Legionary.
Yeah, Legionary is definitely easier to pilot. Some really, really silly stuff you can do.
I still think Inquisition's better, but I think Inquisition is harder to pilot.
I think Inquisition wins in a fight between the two, and I would say pretty handily.
But I think Legionary beats more people.
I think Legionary overall is very good at smooth braining their way into just stomping on everybody.
Mm-hmm. The easier something is to play, the more likely you're going to succeed because you're not going to make a mistake. It's harder to make a mistake,
Like this team can legitimately achieve success running nothing but bolt gun warriors with malefic blades. They start the game on Tzeentch, they flex Nurgle if they want to, and then they end the game as Khorne, so they just have chain swords still. Everything they did before with the durability with shooting, they have all this.
And if Inquisition nopes your Nurgle, you just go Slanesh and you just charge them in extra inches.
Like every ploy you have is good. It works on all of your operatives. Some of your operatives it works even better on.
I did like that change. That was a good change. Because otherwise you had this weird bloat of too many different rules.
Yeah, chaos glow up right now.
So I have a hot take.
Ooh.
And something that I think would address two of my problems with Legionary really, really well.
Okay.
One, I don't like how Marines marked by one god can get the benefit of another god. I really don't like that.
That I would
and
agree.
I also don't like how Undivided is super niche and sort of useless. So what I would do is replace every instance with the ploys, the strat ploys. They get the full benefit if you have the mark, and then the half benefit if you're Undivided. Instead of anybody.
Okay.
I can live with that.
I think that would also severely curb the power of the team.
I would agree.
It wouldn't put them in.
They're just way too flexible.
I don't know if that change would even take them out of S
tier.
tier.
Right, I don't think it would take them out of S tier.
It's some of the flavor problems for me and some of the autopilot, because you don't really need to think about your marks that hard, because everybody's getting so much of the benefit all the time.
The only thing that fixes this team is 5 operatives. It's the only thing right now.
If you were going to nerf them, that would be the nerf.
Yeah.
But, that's not the case. 14 wounds now on average. It's like, whew.
Yeah,
I like the wounds.
I love the wound change. I love the wound change.
Like Space Marines, but I don't like a Khorne Legionary getting the bonus from Slaanesh, like
right.
Slaanesh boy. I just really don't like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It just shouldn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you can take
I don't like that you can even mix marks in your team. Okay, so we've gone very radical for me.
Yeah, yeah. They are definitely Abaddon's chosen. They are doing spicy special things.
I am painting a Black Legion right now. So
okay. He's like, I'm ready to jump on that S tier train.
What's next, G?
So now that we're done with Legionnaires, we have Mandrakes.
Mandrakes. Ooh, I don't
think they're terrible.
Well, they were S tier for quite some time. I don't know if they really got a buff this edition. I haven't read their teleport ability. I haven't actually read it. Has it changed? Because they're still really strong.
As far as I know, their Shadow Passage hasn't changed significantly.
Right.
I do think the addition has changed around them in some very, very problematic ways. I think Mandrakes really don't like the fact that you can't score on turn 1 anymore.
Right. To steal stuff.
I think the existence of kill op is a problem. I think Mandrakes always really, really liked not needing to. Mandrakes would never really table you, and that wasn't their plan, right? Their plan was to be shifty, teleport around. I think this edition is incredibly unkind to that playstyle. And so even though, as far as I can tell reading the rules, Mandrakes themselves are very similar to how they were in the last edition, they're certainly not S tier for me, and I don't even know if I'd put them in A tier.
Well, yeah, you're right, because if you can't really do stuff on Turning Point 1 anymore, where they'd get that advantage to be like, I'm pushing against you.
One of the other things before, right, was with 6 objectives. Mandrakes are very good at spreading out and like late game scoring a lot of points on primary. That just doesn't really exist anymore, right? There's not this giant bucket of primary points where they can keep milking from. I think the addition change is incredibly, incredibly punishing to Mandrakes.
I definitely think that. Well, does Hardy work against Soulstrike? Because Soulstrike.
I do not believe that it does.
Yeah, Soulstrike targets now. It specifically calls out APL.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think it does.
Yeah, it's just because it's still successful
looks like
defense,
they finally
just
fixed
done
the wording.
differently. All right, cool. All right, so I think that's an appropriate spot for them. Middle of B. They still got tricks. You still got plays.
I mean, who knows? They could be busted.
Someone could figure out the trick.
You know, who knows?
Like I figured it out. You know, I'm using barbed wire all the time now, and I don't know. Well, next.
Well, they certainly don't care about barbed wire.
They certainly do not. Exactly.
That's
so it's
one team that doesn't. They prefer if it existed.
We have.
They don't care that much either.
We have Nemesis. I put Nemesis
Claw.
I put Nemesis top A.
The counter
somewhere here, in my opinion. I've heard a lot of.
I could maybe be persuaded to make them S tier, but I think A tier is fine.
I think. I was actually going to say I think they're probably an S tier.
The kill change is good.
They actually can beat Legionary. It's possible. They have a lot of good ploys. They have a lot of good things.
Reducing damage on the one dudes who are.
I agree. I think Legionary can
Vox
play
Scream.
with, or I think Nemesis can play with Legionary.
Yeah,
I think
they're at the bottom of the S tier that we have right now. But yeah,
I think Angels' Death is right behind them. I think they could be an S tier as well, but
I kind of like that Angels of Death is an A for a lot of players.
To be honest, and Nemesis Claw with that free charge ploy is disgusting with what they can pull off the counteract.
Yeah.
They charge, fight, kill, charge, kill, then counteract, charge again to lock somebody up. It's gross.
And don't underestimate how nice obscuring is in this edition. Even if it changed to obviously be like you can't be shot. Now instead, like
A lot of the time, shooting at someone who's obscured is a freaking trap.
It's a trap because you roll your dice. You think you get all these hits. On average 3. It's like, no, you got 2.
Away, no crits,
and no crits, which means no abilities are exactly. So like it's just having obscuring built in naturally is really, really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And a huge change, they can get in Midnight Clad while unengaged now.
Yes.
Yeah,
so what they can do is just sit in a doorway on ITD and go on guard and laugh.
Mm-hmm. And good luck shooting me.
Yeah, come in the room, I dare you.
Midnight Clad, is how they say it in the audiobooks.
So what's next?
So next we got ourselves Novitiates.
Novitiates are interesting. Chris,
okay.
You mained this team and you retired this team. Are you ever going to bring it out?
Coming out to fight?
No.
I don't think so in the current form.
No, I don't think so
they're
either.
really, really cool. I like how the team was rebalanced, internally with the operatives, I think in a smoother way. I like how a lot of their philosophical concepts translate to this edition.
This is where
I also think that they are a absolute disaster at playing like the mid-board meat grinder for kill.
Oh yeah, they just don't survive.
You just get your ladies bulldozed. Big thing that they could do before was again the size of the board and the 6 objectives really helped them spread out and be more effective. I think they've lost that. Outside of a few really key power pieces they have, at most they're B tier. And I would want to play, I would want to see them on the table more, but I could be persuaded they should be C tier.
Yeah, I definitely put them at least B tier, if not lower. The reason why I put them in B tier is because they've always struggled into melee teams. They didn't get any better. They can do, like the Penitent can do some stuff now, but...
What's our consensus on that character? Because some people are saying, is it the Penitent? Is one with the big ass sword, right?
Yeah, the guy that supposedly fights 6 times
or 4 times, which is like still you wouldn't survive to make it to 4 times, but apparently you could. I still think it's 2 max. It's supposed to be the max.
Technically,
I don't think I've ever seen the Penitent survive more than 3 fights.
Right.
That said, they do have the ability to heal now, but it does not take much to bulldoze the 7-wound operative.
Not at all.
I mean, in the right circumstances, if you pay for the fight twice thing and you counteract, or you charge, you double fight, and then you get double charged, and then you fight with a counteract because you have so few models. I mean, maybe. Good luck. So you guys think bottom of B?
I would put them in C tier myself.
I could agree to go into C. Like the change to faith points is a little.
So are they better than Kasrkin?
I would say so. I would say they're probably the cream of the crop for what we've seen from C tier. The whole their leader cross-board sniping you, turning point 1. That's gone. The plasma pistol itself is worse.
Right, you can't do the infinite range.
Worse. Hitting the accuracy's worse, like way worse. I mean, that got kicked in the teeth, and that was a massive part of the team. I don't know what they do to. I don't know how they could play against elites. They might be worse against elites than plays a Khaine, honestly. Like I don't know what this team does right now.
That's fair.
The crack grenades are way worse. Now they're hitting on 4s.
What's up next, G?
Pathfinders. Pappies.
They have a lot of cheese still in the Shas Law stuff, but I don't think that makes them good.
No, I don't think they're fully breaking everything.
It's ridiculous, but I don't think it makes them bad either.
Would you put them in A?
No.
No? I seeing them in B.
I think I'd put them at the bottom of B, maybe somewhere in C. Chris, you won Dallas with this team. Why do you just play every team, Chris?
I definitely didn't win Dallas with this version of Pathfinders.
No, you're not.
The version I played was Baroque as a joke.
Yes.
It was very fun. So, yeah, I haven't seen Pathfinders on the table. Looking through their rules, they're definitely fairly killer still.
There's a lot of people that have told me that they're bad, but I don't necessarily like to take people's opinions per se.
Right.
I look at the team; they still look playable. I still like accurate. I like accurate on a 4-up team because no matter what, you're auto retaining a hit. They still do 4 or 5 damage.
Yeah.
people keep telling me the team is bad. It's it's really bad now, and I just don't agree. I just don't agree.
The question in my mind, Dakota, is if they're going to errata away the GA2 for the Warriors, because if they don't change that, I see a lot of people bringing this team to Atlanta with the 7 activation build, and I don't know what you can do about that. Like, any elite team just gets to face matched it.
I would agree. I think it's really, really good into it, and that's why I couldn't put them. I don't want to put them below B tier. Like, I think they still get rolled by a few other teams, but I think the team is still innately good, and I think the GA2 is possibly good for the team. Maybe you just put a cap on how many warriors you can take. You know, maybe you can only take 4 warriors, right? That objectively helps the team. You know, sure, marker lights are worse. Sure, a few other things are worse, but I just don't think the team is bad. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I always want to fish for a crit. I want to do this. I want to do that. I have played with hand axes, and auto-retaining a hit is always good. No matter what, it's always good.
Just doing chipping damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put them at bottom of B tier.
Okay.
I can live with that.
All right, what's up next?
Phobos, strike team, which may or may not be the worst of the elite teams. Maybe played differently.
Maybe an A tier somewhere.
Yeah, I would say Phobos is the worst of the elite teams. I would also say that it doesn't knock them out of A tier.
Because they're still got things they can pass for an ability.
I think that's a good spot for Phobos.
Yeah, middle of A.
Middle of A is pretty good. They still got good tools. They got the gadgets. Scout Squad.
Scouts got objectively a
worse.
million times worse.
They went down back to 9.
I think our scouts are ready to hang out their blades of Khaine. I think scouts got kicked in the teeth really, really hard.
Hell yeah.
Losing an operative and losing the blade melee damage and not getting a whole lot to compensate for it.
Right.
It's rough.
Kill team salvation, more like kill team failure.
Dang, that was a kill team failure box. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay. Right. So then now we got ourselves the Aquilons. Okay, playing them and trying them out, I think they fall in B.
I would agree.
Yeah, their tricks are good enough where it's like you could do some.
Where would you put them in B? I'm unsure. Like maybe middle.
Put them right next to Kommandos.
Yes, that is the wrong picture, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I wouldn't put that next to Kommandos.
No.
Like
the Vespids, I think,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
them.
Aquilon just has a very telegraphed play style.
Yeah,
as
you
long as
kind
you
of know.
aim back early, a lot of what they do is sort of neutered.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're effectively playing a version of Kasrkin that is far more mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And has, I would say, honestly, much better tricks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, it's still like the same, chassis.
Well, Colts don't have to hang back. That's for sure.
They don't.
Colts just run at you full hell now, and they just beat the.
Right. So going into melee teams, you get to play this team a little more.
I think you got to do that.
You got to sit yourself back because.
Yeah, I think Colts would have a lot of fun against Aquilon.
Oh yeah. Trust me.
Why did you send us here?
Yeah, they're great, and you're right. It's telegraphed. You can use the one ploy to be like, you thought it was telegraphed, but really I'm going to move it over here, but still kind of telegraphed because I have to end here. Yeah, they're still good. Still good. The mobile is fine.
And I think you have a really high skill ceiling with this team. I think the better of a player you are, the higher that you can take the team. But objectively, the majority of the player base is going to play them in just a standard competitive range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is a one-box team. You do have to.
Is it though?
Yeah, because you can make both the rifle weapons.
Convert.
You have to do 2 conversions. Obviously, there's the complaint of so you can't take the last pistol on the sergeant and the gunfighter because it's different. I don't know. Give the gunfighter the bolt pistol like I did. It doesn't matter, right? And then you have to sort of slightly convert the arm so that the plasma or the meltagun can be used on the warrior body.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you want to do the 4 warrior build and not take the robot. But I think after playing the game, realizing you probably just stick the robot on top of a vantage somewhere because he can drop in
and shoot twice,
and just have it shoot twice and bogard a spot, protect it and bogard forever.
Yeah, I think in practice, just what needs to happen is with how many people who are getting their hands on the Aquilon kits, just sharing is caring. Just spread a few extra of the kits around so people can kit bash what they need.
Yeah. And if you already have Tempestive Scions from the Inquisition box, 3 to print yourself some backpacks, call it a day, double dip, whatever. Figure it out.
So Vespids are up next. Vespids are up next.
The Vespid Stingwings.
I think that Vespids are...
I think they're B tier.
Really? I thought they'd be C tier.
Dude, I played the kill up like it was nothing. And sure, I was playing against this.
They are very good at kill up.
Because you get piercing 1 when you move, and you want to play moving anyways because commune points, you sort of want to save your commune points by putting yourself in the right spot where it's like, oh, my commune doesn't matter. I was going to shoot this guy anyways.
Okay.
Like, you're forcing yourself to kind of do that. You had the tricks of like balance. You have deceptively good melee or deceptively decent melee. Little things you're like not thinking about. Like, I forgot to do it a bunch, but like, oh, I did a critical. I'm going to do D3 extra damage. I could kill you right now. Like, deceptively decent melee. Flying is useful because you just get to a spot. They're very good, but obviously like if you hit them in combat, they will die. Like, that's where I was losing more of my dudes, was getting just killed in combat and break.
Yeah, I definitely I have a little bit more of a pessimistic taste on them. I've played them a fair amount since launch, and the problem is less the communion points thing. I think you can get around that. There's equipment to help get around that. I actually don't think that's the team's biggest problem. Team's biggest problem is everyone's hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
And you're going to put on the point to gain balance. Love that. At the end of the day, you have no real way to ensure any form of consistency at any point. Your melee's on 4s, your shooting's on 4s.
I mean, think about the guy who...
Super easy.
Think about your guy
who... You don't
who
have too many dice to throwing either. And the balance is really the only
thing you got.
Trick you're going to get.
With obscuring being a thing, it doesn't matter as much.
I just can't hit anything. I mean, the one thing that's nice is at least the leader is like, oh, you can take one ploy for free, so you're always going to take the balance. Or you're going to take the one that's favorable. So at least you get that, which is kind of nice. So it's like, you're right. The 4 to hit is probably the hardest part, right? Because your best operatives are the flamethrower when it comes to hitting, is your flamethrower and your sniper.
Yeah.
And I get why that's the case, right? Because, having all the guns at piercing 1 when you move is really strong.
Yeah, already.
But that just forces you, like, effectively what that means is that shooting is always a 2 action point thing. Because even if you're in range, you'll need to move first before you shoot, right, to make sure you get that bonus.
Right, you got it.
Which sometimes in practice really hurts, right? Because what if you want to do a mission action and then shoot, right? Like, well, then shooting skipped. That hurts. You lose the bonus of the deploy, and you don't get P1. Really, really painful.
That's true.
I definitely wouldn't put Vespid higher than C tier.
Okay.
You got outvoted this
time. I'll agree.
I've been playing them a lot. They're really fun to play, right? I enjoy the team. I like them. They can mess stuff up. One of the big problems they have is that they rely on that P1 to do a lot of damage, and some teams can ignore P1.
That's true.
Sometimes
smoke grenades.
Most problematic teams can ignore P1. That's a big problem.
So what are we looking at for the next one?
This is the Veteran Guardsman.
The Veteran Guardsman.
/ Death Corps.
All right. We're putting them down here.
I think they fall
I would put them at the top of D tier right now from what I've seen. They just had the wind knocked out of their sails hard. In-Death Atonement is gone from what it used to be. Now, say what you will about that, being overpowered or broken, but that single ploy kept that team on the map.
Yeah.
In so many situations where otherwise you just get your lines completely overrun. I really liked the way it was before. And that is coming as somebody who has played against Vetguard more than I played as them. I played against Vetguard a lot. And I liked dealing with that ploy. It was annoying, but I got it. It's neat.
The other thing about the team is the mine is bad.
Yeah, the mine is worse.
Mine is just worse. You never ever take it. The hardened veteran is also bad. He's just they nuked him out of
Look, I think the nail in the coffin though for this team is I don't think they like the ITD or focus maps right now. So I think the game itself is very kind for them. Veteran Guardsmen also really liked playing points team and not kill team, which is a strategy which doesn't work as well in this edition.
Yep.
Yeah.
That said, there's still 14 bodies. They're still really, they still have some stuff they can do. They can still bring a lot of guns to bear. I get that, but they are way, way distantly worse than Blooded or Brood Brothers, who can fight competently in melee.
Right.
And have just as many consistency tools, if not more.
So they used to be a plexiglass gun. Right. So they weren't like a glass cannon. Right. So they were a plexiglass cannon where they had this faux durability with the hardened. They had a rosary. They had
14 bodies.
14 bodies, and they had They had this crazy ploy that when a dude would die, he wouldn't die.
So
right?
a wrench in your.
Well,
what you're
now
trying to
they
do.
just have 14 bodies, and all of the durability has been taken out of the team.
Yeah,
They suffer
7
the
deaths.
exact same way now as Kroot. In fact, I would not be surprised if Kroot and them perform the exact same. They can play the crit op really well,
'Cause your
but by the
bodies-
end of the turning point, every model's going to be dead because they
I think
can't.
Kroot would run train over Vetguard.
I would agree.
Too.
I would agree.
Oh, so they're even
And
okay.
that sounds like a disaster matchup.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Does Scouts beat out Kroot and Deathcore / Veteran Guardsman?
I still think Veteran Guardsman can do a lot of damage. And with 9 bodies, I don't think Vetguard are really scared of 9 bodies. but
Right, if they had that extra one.
They can tie elites. They can maybe beat elites, but they're probably going to lose. They're going to lose to most other matchups. Like Veteran Guards still have a chance to win some games, right? They're still like an okay team at times, but innately the team is just so. They've changed so much functionality that when you look at them, they're just objectively a completely different team, and
Okay.
they just aren't, in my opinion, good. So we only have 3 more teams.
Yep, we got Void Dancers.
Void Dancers. Chris, where are you putting these guys?
I have no idea. I have not seen them on the table. When I read their rules, it's really hard for me to get a sense of where they're going to sit in the current meta. I just don't know.
I'm going to put them at the top of B tier. I think the team is way better than it was.
Okay.
They have basically like a pseudo fly. They do a lot of extra damage, but I just don't know how the team is going to function into elites. I don't know how they're going to function into the Jaegers or in any of the other popular factions. In fact,
Do they beat Colts and Commandos?
I don't know. I'm sure that our YouTube comments will tell us. I think the team is good, right?
People are confident with them.
They're a lot of people are very excited for their buffs, right? So the team could be the best elf team. It could be better than Corsairs, but I just don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, because they're probably going to play kill team good, but are they going to do everything else well? I don't know. We'll have to see.
you're right. They probably do the kill out for sure. Well, we got Warp Coven, and I think people do like them, but they're not quite enough to really break into the S tier.
Oh, I disagree. I think Warp Covenant's S tier.
Oh, really?
What do you why are you thinking so?
I think they are S tier. I think they just run into a roadblock with these 3 teams.
With those 3 teams?
Yeah.
So does that innately make
with
them
the
A
exception
tier?
of- I actually think Warp Coven could probably do fine into Inquisition specifically,
Interesting.
but not necessarily into the other teams.
Really? And you don't think Inquisition just has the hard counter with the ability to turn off certain
They have a
things?
2 up save, my guy.
So
They also have like crazy.
Warp
lands.
Coven can just turn on a ploy that gives their team ignores piercing or degrades piercing by 1, right, which severely kneecaps. They can do a crap load of healing, and then the rubrics again have those 2 up saves. So if you shoot a Meltagun into a rubric, it's still throwing 2 dice saving on 2s.
That's fair.
Right? With 14 wounds. So unless you roll really, really well, you're not likely going to get the kill there. And then the healing sorcerer can just walk up and he'll do 2d3 and then counteract and heal another 2d3. And then it just undid what you did. Oh, that's right. You can cast spells and counteract.
Yep, you're right. It's a 1 APL action. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
That's all it says
Oh, Lord.
for counteracts, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Emperor Almighty.
All right.
Why is there so many chaos factions in the top tier?
Because
Thank goodness
magic
there's a
powers are strong.
Good thing there's a.
And now you can take Shield Zangors too, which is fun.
Yeah,
I'm
Shield
glad they added
Zangors.
those in.
Yeah, same.
I don't think they're good, but I'm glad you can take them.
We have our final team.
Final team is Wormblade.
Yes. Everyone else got their cool roll ability. So I don't know if that's really like unique to them.
So the thing that Wormblade got is that hiding is now sort of their like faction rule. So they like pop out of the ground, which is I like that the fact that even though they took it out of most teams, Wormblade still have it. I have no idea where that leaves them power wise. I would say again the addition change was unkind to them. They don't love things being in a drag out death match, and they don't like not scoring turn to point 1. I tell you what, that was their bread and butter from last edition.
They also
changes,
always struggled. They've always struggled into elites, always.
Yeah, those changes across the game, I would probably wager they're going to be in C tier. They're still going to have some perfectly fine matchups half the time, and then just hit complete brick walls in certain other teams. Like, what do they do against people to death?
I do like how they function against the rest of the teams. Like, I think hiding is still super, super strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're C. I don't think they're below average. I think maybe bottom of B.
Yeah, I mean they also have bodies too. At the end of the day, so they still got horde numbers, which was nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after we wrap with this, I'll probably go and get the actual images and put them in here for the
right.
Yeah, everyone coming into the end of this podcast, remember,
is super confused.
This guy right here is blooded, and this guy right here, the little demon dude.
You mean Brood Brothers?
Yeah. Brood Brothers, and this one's Jaegers.
Yep.
Yeah, so we will see, probably a month from now, once the game's more battle tested, if we are prophets here or if we were, clowns about some of the takes. I'm sure some of these are going to move a lot. They're super wrong. But I feel pretty good about this direction.
Yeah, I think that this is, we'll see a lot after SoCal Open and then New York Open. And then it pretty much goes, I think the next big tournament is Worlds. And I expect to see drastic changes after Worlds.
Yeah, because
I think there's a lot of things. I'm really worried that we're not going to get an FAQ. And like barbed wire is going to remain the same and all that kind of stuff. I'm really worried about that kind of stuff because Kill Team Raw is in a really toxic, disgusting place. That's why we don't run barbed wire.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
Literally, dwarves can't get over it. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
5-inch movement, you literally can't climb. The way climbing works, everything like that, you just can't. It's insane.
It's very funny.
Yeah. Well, it is late, and we do have to edit this and get it out.
Sure do.
Today, because now it's past midnight.
It's the next day, but that's what we do for you guys.
Well,
here
enjoy that
at Squad Games.
Yeah, and Chris, thank you for jumping on and being. Long one.
That is there you go. Do you have any...
Of course, guys. This was a top tier experience.
A speculative top tier experience. You got anything to shout out?
Let's see. What do we have coming up? I guess nothing on the near horizon. I'm just getting ready for Worlds. Is the next big thing.
Worlds.
So looking forward to Worlds. Looking forward to obviously LBO coming up. So can't wait for that.
If you guys want to grab your tickets to SoCal Open, they're still selling tickets.
Yep.
That will be, I think October 21st, 19th and
19th and 20th, the weekend of the 19th and 20th. So next week-ish? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our next event, and that will be our first 3rd edition event. And then we're going to run...
And that's still golden ticket, right?
Yeah, I'll be going to Worlds, and then we have... What else do we have after that?
I think we're going to be doing...
and then we have West Coast Championships, and then we'll
December,
have LVO.
Yeah. Then we'll have LVO. Yeah, it's going to be fun. You can join us on our Discord, you can join the conversation there. Or if you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment, tell us what you think is actually is supposed to be up or down on your tier list, You can check out other of the shows, Hobby Highlander.
How wrong I am. I love it.
There you go. Yeah, tell us how wrong, maybe Striking Scorpions are awesome. Probably not. But, then you can check out the battle reports if you want to go see it and decide, what you think about it in general, before you try them out and commit to a purchase. You can follow us on Instagram at squad_games_entertainment to check out any updates we're doing for future events and anything like that. You can find me on Instagram at wargaming_studios. And, that's my bit. How about you?
Check out Hobby Highlander and check out our battle reports. We're putting a lot of effort into both, and I think they're quite good. If you guys are ever interested in watching Twitch, hopefully we'll be Twitch affiliated here after today, and you can throw us your Amazon Prime sub if you still have it, and if you're supporting other content creators, make sure you do that too. Throwing out the Amazon Prime is free if you own it. So
like and subscribe. Thank you guys. We're on our road to hit 2K next.
Yeah,
That's the
2K.
next goal.
2K is the next one.
Yeah.
Until next time, everyone.
See ya.
Hell yeah. Thank you, everyone.